It was a really, really important game. Emotions were getting high.
Huge game for the club, huge game for the town. You could feel in the ground, you could feel the atmosphere, you could feel the tension. My name is Ian Ford, Chairman at Newport Pagnell Town Football Club. We had a sanction from the FA, which was full stadium game closure and a fine to the club. The reason we had that was for inappropriate conduct by our home supporters. We have a really great base of family-oriented supporters that come to the club, people we know. We probably know most of the 200 people that walk through the gate every Saturday, all managed by volunteers, 3 or 4 volunteers that would put on a high-vis vest and act as a steward for the day.
Away team have arrived by minibus. They haven't indicated how many fans will travel, but it is only Leicester, so it's a nice hot sunny day. Is there any questions? Normally on a match day we'd have anything up to about 140 people, and then during the Vars run our crowds changed to nearly 2,000 people coming to games.
As we got more and more successful and the crowd started to grow, still that same bunch of volunteers trying to manage that situation, and really the growth and the explosion of the club probably caught us a little bit unprepared.
It was a 3 o'clock kickoff. We were the hosting club. We had put certain things in place to segregate the two teams due to some history.
Towards the end of the game, you could feel the tension in the ground rising. People were beginning to feel a little bit anxious. You could feel the volume turning up from both sets of supporters.
The singing, the chanting, and then the chanting changed to focus on an individual who'd sadly passed away that was very well thought of within the club.
And unfortunately, the home fans retaliated with some inappropriate chants towards the away fans, which breached FA regulations. After the event, we received a charge from the FA. We were given an opportunity to plead guilty or not guilty to that charge. We did plead guilty. The process was absolutely fine, and the way in which the FA conducted it was very professional and very fair, but nevertheless sanctioned a fine against the club, and we also had to play some games behind closed doors. On the day the ground was closed to spectators, it was really quite emotional. It was a cold evening, floodlights on, no supporters here, the mood very sombre, very low, just minimal amount of volunteers to be able to get the game on. No one else was allowed in the ground. I remember now standing inside the ground during the game and looking around at all of the empty stands and just thinking how eerie the place felt and how cold the place felt. Difficult for the players to play in with that type of atmosphere. Committee members walking around with their heads bowed down and just everybody feeling sad, really.
When we weren't allowed to come to the game, it was like as if part of us had been cut off.
This is our Saturday afternoon, this is our occasional Tuesday nights. And when you can't come for a game, I think it really does make you realise what you're missing.
Not having the fans here was strange. The place was silent, so you lose that sound that drives you. So it was very flat. I do think we won the game, if I remember rightly, but it wasn't the same. And I wouldn't want to have that any other time.
The impact to the club from the sanctions was absolutely huge. We'd spent a lot of time investing time in the local community, investing time with the council, investing time with sponsors to try and get their support to help with our strategic growth agenda. The damage in terms of our brand that an allegation or a charge of racism can have is absolutely huge. Following the sanctions, we were determined to make sure that nothing like this would happen again. And to achieve that, obviously, we needed to educate ourselves, to upskill ourselves, to learn, and reached out to various avenues where we could get information to support us on the things we needed to do. We've made a huge amount of changes, from posters inside the ground instructing the fans on fan behaviour, to announcements on the tannoy during the match, to social media postings, increasing the amount of stewards, training for stewards, the hiring of external security companies for larger games, and lots of things going on.
Things around the club really, really positive, and I think you've only got to see now there's so many children coming to the club, coming to these games. It's a safe environment. People know they can bring their families here and have a really good afternoon.
Newport!
What I would say to other clubs that find themselves in the same position we're in, where they may be on a bit of a cup run, they may be getting bigger crowds than they're used to, would be to reach out for support. Reach out to the FA for some advice and guidance, or reach out to neighbouring clubs. Look up non-league football clubs at Step 5 that have been on a cup run and get in touch with them. They'll only be too pleased to help them. I would be delighted to hear from a club at the same level that's going on a cup run that says, can you help me? Because we learnt so much and we'd love to be able to share that experience with other people.